I won't participate.
No.
Try it.
No, you do.
Give it a shot.
Helen, tell us if you're gonna get through it.
I haven't even started.
You're fine. Okay, I want to get this thing
I don't remember it, but-
up.
Oh, that was the one that I guessed on. I got right.
Uh-huh. Cool. Do you have us recording? You indeed. Fantastic. All right, online summit. Mentioned this a little bit earlier, is March 31st. If you were registered for regular summit, you don't need to re-register. If you have people within your organization that wish to watch the content, this is all going to be free access. They will need to register, though it will be gated. The keynotes are from 10:30 to 12:30 Central Time, and super awesome. They got Chelsea Handler to stick with doing the keynotes, so she's actually going to fly to the San Jose office and be giving the keynotes from there during the live keynote portion, which is great. The breakout sessions, they're going to be on demand. There'll be roughly about 100 or so of them. A mix, I believe about 25 Marketo sessions were chosen to be a part of that, and the rest are going to be some of the Adobe Experience Cloud or campaign type products. So you will see a good mix. There's also some of the thought leadership or like more high level ones in there too. Yeah. Yep. For the webinar series on MCE prep, part 5 is on Thursday the 19th at 12:30 p.m. That's presented by Trent Cross. He's the leader of the Salt Lake City Users Group, and he was a part of the 2019 Champions class. We also have Champion Office Hours on Wednesday at 1 p.m. with Amanda Thomas. If you haven't been on any of the open office hours, it's a 1-hour come and go as you please chat session where you can get on with a champ, ask any questions that you have about the test, about your Marketo instance. We can actually go into our sandbox and build stuff or look at things, that sort of thing. So it's just sort of an open forum to come and ask whatever you want. For the test itself, it is a 75-question exam for 90 minutes. You need a 70% score or higher to pass. It is proctored, whether that's online or in person at a local testing site. When you're getting ready to book that, the Criterion website can direct you as to where those testing centers are. There's one or two out in the suburbs, I believe, and then one downtown here on the north side. So a couple of different options there. The online proctored one, you do need a microphone, video camera, and they will check in, around, everywhere to make sure you're good. As you can see here, this is a breakdown of the test. We've had each of the 5 webinars that cover a different section here. So our webinar next week for week 5 is implementation and operations. But overall, this will be the breakdown of how your test is scored and the different practice areas in Marketo that it focuses on. So let's dive into doing a practice test. This one's going to be 35 questions. I'm going to put the questions up on the board as well as what the answer choices are. This is multiple choice, just like the MCE. So I'll put those up, give you guys a minute to read through everything. I'll actually read them out loud as well. We'll wait a couple minutes when everybody's got an answer written down, then we'll talk through the answers. Ready? All right. Question number 1. You need to mark individuals as attended as they show up to your customer appreciation dinner. Which channel and program type should you use? A, webinar channel and event program type. B, email send channel and email program type. C, live event channel and event program type. Or D, operational program channel and default program type. Very good. The answer is C, live event channel and event program type. Is all get that one? Yep. Yeah, that one's pretty straightforward. It's not a webinar. It's a customer appreciation dinner, so we know right away that that's not the answer. Same, I mean, email send, you know, because it is a live event, there's probably a little bit more to it. The live event channel and event program type, that gives you the opportunity to add in event dates, Certainly you can send emails, have landing pages, all of that sort of thing that go with having a live event. But that way you can track that dinner up against that channel and tag that you have. Operational program probably wouldn't be the best choice. For these people, likely you're going to want to score them. You're going to want to see this information in your reporting and that sort of thing. And it really isn't an operational or core function to your instance the way a data management or a sync program or campaign would be.
Also, the event on event allows you to use the check-in app if you wanted to do so. It's the only one you can do that with.
I was just gonna use the check-in app recently, and it's tablet only. There's no mobile, right?
Correct. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do use the app, your events will show up in the app 1 week before and 1 week after your event date.
So I haven't ever downloaded it now.
Yep. So if you're going to test that,
Mm-hmm.
just be aware of that, because if you're putting something in that if it's like 2 months in advance, you're not going to see it in the app no matter how many times you try to refresh. You'll need to either test on a different program or adjust the dates and then just make sure you adjust them back. Yep. Yeah, it's really great for small events though. I used it a lot at my previous company for small in-person trainings that we did. And it was just a nice, simple, easy to use, free. It's included in your subscription type of tool to have. Yeah. Question number 2. Which of the following are ways to become a member of a program? Choose all that apply. A, fill out a form inside of a program. B, import into the program member tab. C, attend a webinar synced with the program. D, import a static list in the program. Or E, a program status flow action. You guys all have answers? Pretty good? Okay. The answer is A, B, C, and E. D is not one of the correct answers. When you import a list, there is not an option to select a program status according to or as a part of the import in a static list. And so what you then need to do is have an associated smart campaign that would be member of list and then assign your member status. Yep. Filling out a form inside of a program, if the form is local to the program itself, then they automatically become a member. They also then get.
It has to be a local landing page, doesn't matter where the form is. That's actually tricky. It would be fill out a form on a landing page inside of a program. So that's actually, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little washy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
But for forms to work for adding membership, they have to be local to a program. They cannot be a design studio global form. Importing into the members tab, yes, you can do that. You can import directly into that location. And then we mentioned a flow action, a program status adjustment in a smart campaign.
No, just makes them visible in the members.
Yep. Okay, question 3. This will be the first of our daily doubles. Which of the following is not a way to become a member of a program? So tagging onto some of the conversations that we just had. A, creating a new lead via the iPad or Android event application. B, fill out a form that's located in Design Studio. C, add a lead to a Salesforce campaign synced to a Marketo program. Or D, select the acquisition program when importing into the lead database.
Or we have someone calling out that they want to answer it for the prize, or how are we handling this?
Yeah.
Double Jeopardy. Andrews are
That's what I was
going.
thinking. Does anybody want to shout out the answer?
Buzz.
Good job.
Yeah, exactly what I just said.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yep.
I'm like, is this a trick?
Right? Yes, it's a trick. Yeah, nice and easy. So come on up, grab a prize. Take the poison. No pressure. Yeah, no, we talked a little bit about the app. When you do have the app in place, you can create guests live during the event through the event application. And similar to like a webinar or other trade show app that's integrated with Marketo, when you create someone from the app, it will create them in Marketo as a part of that program. They become a part of your registered people that are in that program. So that's nice and easy. It syncs it over all the information that you put in. It's like name, email address, company name. It's pretty limited in the email or in the information that you can actually put in, but it does at least get you a head start in getting them added into the system. The Design Studio piece, global forms is a great example of things that live in Design Studio. They could be used in countless programs throughout Marketo or elsewhere on a CMS, for example. So unless you have some sort of a smart campaign that's listening for other things, like the page that it was filled out on and then assigning them to a program, that sort of thing, it doesn't do it by itself. Acquisition program, if you do set an acquisition program when importing a list, you can assign that membership that way, because it does say like, okay, some action, this program acquired this person. But you do have to set that. You do, of course, when you import a list, have the option to select none. So it's kind of that one can go either way. Cool. Number 4, which of the following would be appropriate success statuses in a program? A, engaged. B, attended. C, sent. Or D, invited. Could be. Yep.
Attended for sure. But then engaged would be the second one.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct. Yes. Right? Yeah, I mean, engaged and attended could both be successes depending on the type of program or channel that you've got going. Certainly a lot of times if you're running a live event or webinar, attended is the goal of what you're putting that out there for. So, you know, that would certainly be a success. Engaged could be a success, for example, if you had web content online, you want somebody to download a white paper or a research guide or an infographic, that sort of thing, you might mark them as engaged. Sent, I mean, you'd be marking success for your entire database every time you sent out an email. It doesn't mean they opened it. It doesn't mean they looked at it. It doesn't mean they clicked it. Great. We already know we have their email address. And same for invited. The chances are you probably sent them an invitation, but it doesn't tell us anything about what the actions were after that. Number 5, you want to track a gated piece of content on your company website for a number of form fills and new names. Which channel would you select? A, website. B, web form. C, default. Or D, engagement. Does anybody want to shout out a guess on this one? Yeah, B. Yep. Yeah, so this one's a little bit of a weird one. Website, I mean, I guess in some ways you could create a custom channel of website. It would be kind of
Which house
broad.
all of my activities.
Yeah. And Marketo does have some channels that are out of the box already, which are like your live event, email send. There's a couple in there that sort of come as an out of the box functionality. And that would be where your web form lives. As far as channels, default and engagement would kind of be weird channels too. Website would kind of be the same thing maybe as default in a lot of ways. Of this could kind of encompass everything that you do
I think they
anywhere
put that
ever.
in there to throw you with the idea of
Program type.
a program type as opposed to a channel, right? Because if you're building a content channel, it would be off the default program type. I think that's why they do that.
I mean, same thing, engagement. Sure, you could probably have a channel of engagement, but if it's, you know, we're talking about a one-off piece of content here, it probably wouldn't be a fit there. You might have.
That would be confusing with nurture.
So just a little bit of a, you know, yeah, there's 1,000 ways to slice and dice and customize, but this is kind of one of those where what's the out of the box simple answer is kind of what they're looking for, which would be the web form one. Yeah. Okay, this is going to be our next daily double. You want to send multiple emails to the same audience at a consistent pace and time. Which program type would you select? Email, engagement, nurture, or default? No? Engagement, yeah. Nurture is not a program type. So Marketo has 4 program types: email, default, engagement, and event. You would use an engagement program for a nurture. Yeah. Engagement. You got it. Do you want to make another pick?
Wait, you take it. Go ahead. I don't use
Yeah. 7, you want to send an email to individuals, thanking them for stopping by at an event and asking them if they would like to receive emails from you. Which program type would you select? A, trade show, B, default, C, event, or D, webinar? So I'm going to give you another shot on program types.
Sorry, at this point, that's when you guys use Marketo as a glorified mail gun. So I used it today. I'm gonna guess event based on the context.
Exactly, event. That's the keyword right in the question, by stopping by at an event. As we just mentioned, there are 4 program types, so automatically we know that trade show is not one of those. Default, event, and webinar. Webinar is also not a program type, so that takes us down to 2 answers right there. Now we've got a 50-50 shot. Since they mentioned right in the question that it's an event, that would be a great thing for us to track against, because then we can look at things like how much did we spend at this event. Now we can see how many people want to hear communications from us afterward, and we can start to look at things like program performance reporting and that sort of thing, and start to see some of the performance metrics that go with an event itself. We can tie in the date of the event, that sort of thing. Yep. Number 8, true or false. You have 3 program statuses in your channel in order. Member, step 10. Filled out form, step 20, which is a success. And engaged, step 20, also success. In this setup, a lead can move from filled out form to engaged, but not vice versa. You guys ready? Do you need another minute? The answer is false. When you have progression statuses within a program, people can go from the top up to what are essentially your higher number statuses, and they can go lateral between ones that are at the same like number, right? So 20, they could go from filled out form to engaged or engaged to filled out form. They would not be able to go backwards to member. So the goal is that they kind of like move along in forward progression, but they can move laterally. And so for this one, since these are both at 20 for their steps, they could move seamlessly between. Which of the following is the best approach for adding members to an engagement program? Create a triggered smart campaign with add to engagement program as a flow step. Use transition rules in the stream. Import members into the program using a static list, or create a form in the program. Ready? Create a triggered smart campaign with an add to engagement program flow step. This gives you the option to choose stream, because if you have multiple streams, you got to tell it where to go. Transition rules, that covers once a person is in, how they move from one stream to another, but not necessarily how they get into the program itself. Importing members to the static list, just like we talked about in previous programs. Importing someone doesn't necessarily tell the program what to do with them or where they go. Again, if you had multiple streams, they'd be there, but they wouldn't be in any stream of content. You've got to first say, okay, I want this person to get the content in stream 1. And then same with a form inside of the program.
The challenge with the last 2 is you run the risk of setting that person as having been acquired by Nurture, which is absolutely impossible, right? Nurture is an outbound program. You can't acquire anyone through Nurture. You already have to have their email to nurture them.
Yep. Any questions on that one? You wish to stop sending out content to a group of individuals in an existing engagement program. Which of the following approaches should you take? A, archive the content in the engagement program. B, remove the leads from the program. C, change the program's cadence, or D, pause the leads in the program? I don't know, guys, can you pause the leads in an engagement program? Yes, you can. And in fact, that is the answer. Archiving the content, it doesn't really stop from sending them any future content, so that doesn't achieve what we're looking for here at all. Removing the leads from the program, you only want to do this if you added somebody by mistake and haven't sent them anything, and you're like, oh, hold on, crap, let me pull these out of here. Someone who's already gotten your content and interacted with it, you still want to keep them in the program for your reporting purposes so that you can look at their behavior, what they've done, their interactions, that sort of thing. If you change the program's cadence, that also still doesn't stop them from getting anything. It just changes the frequency or when they might get it. Really, the only answer here is to pause the leads in the program. So for each person that's in an engagement program, you have the option to set their cadence as normal or paused. When they're set to paused, they will not get anything else that is from any one of those streams, regardless of where they are, or how they move, or what they interact, and what your transitions might be. If you've got trigger transitions, it doesn't matter. If they are paused in that engagement program, they will not get any other content from it. If their cadence is normal, they'll follow whatever the cadence is for the stream that they're assigned to. Yeah. Whoops, I don't have slide transitions on this one, so I guess we're diving straight into the answer. True or false? You can use a transition rule on the first stream in an engagement program. What's the answer, guys? True. Do you want to come pick a prize? Yeah, why not? Get a freebie on this one. All right. Transition rules. Yes, you can use them on the first stream in an engagement program. Each of the streams have the option to have transition rules to identify who moves in between streams. You can also do that with smart campaigns, but you can have one on the first stream. There could be the possibility that somebody might, you might have your streams based on frequency or cadence or product of interest or anything, and maybe they could move over and then move back. You do have that option and that flexibility to do that. You have 2,000 leads in an engagement program, 125 of which have exhausted all of the content. You recently added new content into the program at the top of the only stream in the program. How many leads will receive the new white paper at the next cast, assuming there are no deliverability issues and no additional people added to the program? Keika. Yes, ma'am. 2,000 it is. Come pick a prize. 2,000. When content is exhausted and you add new content into a stream, those people are no longer exhausted. Everybody's going to get your new content. If you added it to the top of the stream, every person in your program is now going to get that specific piece on the next cast. The casts run based in the order that content is in your stream. So yeah, if you've got something that's like, hey, I need to get this out to everybody now today, you're going to want to put it at the very top of the stream, and then everybody's going to get that at the next cast. If you put it at the bottom, people will only get it when they reach that point. So if somebody, say it's email 6 that you drop it in, if somebody is still at email 3, they'll get email 4 as long as that's an active email next before they progress all the way down to email 6. If you dropped it at the top, they'd get it all there. But the exhausted content, it's, yeah, there's new fresh content there. They're no longer exhausted. There's something new, fresh, hot, juicy, ready for them to get.
Until they got it and then they're exhausted.
And then they're exhausted again, yeah. So, right? Depends on how long your cadence is. Yeah, sure. You guys want to take a couple questions? Yeah. Okay.
You
I
wanna
mean,
br-
we're
you
kind
wanna
of
eat?
jumping in,
I
so.
kind of feel bad. You're like,
You
got
wanna
this
eat?
big plate
Like,
of dinner for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. Do you think?
We'll go for it.
We're recording, I'm assuming we're recording.
We are.
Audio as well? Yeah. All right, we can cut out the eating one.
Ready?
Where we stand.
All right, so this is a choose all that apply. Which types of assets can be used in an engagement program stream? So email, report, default program, landing page, event program. All right, you guys ready? Okay. So which types of assets can be used in an engagement program stream? The answer here is C and E. Now this is weird because it says which type of assets, and technically an email is an asset. So it really, I would,
That one should be in there.
yeah, I would say A, C and E, but yeah, this is correct. So can anyone tell me why we wouldn't use a landing page in an engagement program? You know why that's not on the list?
The landing page is associated with an email.
Right, but it's an inbound asset, right? Like the lead has to take an action to find it. So unless you have something like an email that's going to deliver that out, it's not going to do anything in there. But you can actually nest default programs and event programs inside of your nurture. If you've never done it, it's a fun thing to explore. So A, C, and E here are the correct ones. All right, so a lead fills out a form and the marketing manager wants 2 actions to occur immediately. They want to send the lead a confirmation email and they want to change the lead's program status to registered. What should be done to ensure this? I'm not going to read all of these. Okay, anyone want to answer this one? Correct. So with this, we've got 3 options for fills out form. Probably pretty clear that's the right answer there if you're just reasoning or logicking it out. And then we need to change a program status and we need to send an email. So of the 3 that are left for us, send an email and change a data value isn't going to get us to change program status. It's a different flow step, right? And then the second 2 choices down, or the last 2 choices down, are send an email or send an alert. So an alert is an internal function that's going to send an email to someone inside your organization, whereas the email is going to send it. What is the difference between segmentations and smart lists? So a lead can exist in multiple segments, but not in multiple smart lists. A segment or smart list can be used in smart campaigns while segmentations cannot. Segmentations can be used to create dynamic content while smart lists cannot. Smart lists can be used as a filter option creating an email program while segmentations cannot. Or smart lists are not mutually exclusive, but segmentations are. How many people have played with segmentations or segments? All right, we ready? C. Segmentations can be used to create dynamic content. Smart lists can't. That's the difference. And this one's tricky because segmentations aren't, but once you get into a single segment, then those lists in there are mutually exclusive. But that's why that they get you there, or try to. Okay, what types of content can be added to an engagement program? Choose all the, didn't we already do this?
Nope.
Oh, types of content. Oh, huh. Because it before it said assets, but it was program. Okay. Yeah, no, okay.
The last one was streams.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
This is
interesting. I
where
wasn't
they're
even
gonna
reading.
Try to throw you on the test.
Okay, I'm gonna call this one a double jeopardy. All right. So what types of content can be added to an engagement program? Anyone want to hazard an answer on this one? So you can put a landing page inside. Right.
It can be in the program, but not in the stream. So that's where this one, the keyword difference is that stream, the difference between the program as a whole entity or the stream within the program. I will mention, this one's on the test, or a very close variation to it. You can actually, so with an engagement program, you can nest other program types inside of it. You can nest default programs and event programs. You might have a group of people that you're nurturing, and you're maybe trying to drive them to a future event, like a happy hour, a cocktail, a networking event, something like that. You can actually nest that within your nurture or engagement program type.
So a really good use case of this would be, let's just say you had a new product you were launching, a new product line, right? And so you decided, I'm going to make a nurture program for 2020 for this product, right? And everything related to that product, I'm going to nest under there, right? So I'm going to have all my roadshows nested under there. I'm going to have all of my dinners, like everything where I'm promoting that event, I'm just going to put it in this one bucket. You may or may not want to do that from a tracking perspective, but you can. And that's kind of the what is possible. All right, which of the following program types would you use to create a new channel for lead nurture?
Colleen?
Got it, girl. Did I?
Boom.
More water bottles?
It's totally fine.
There's wireless chargers in the, wireless chargers in the white boxes.
Ooh.
No, up here. Up here.
Oh, up here.
Yeah, that's probably
Oh.
and there's tiles, and I mean,
What's a tile?
it's for people who lose things.
Oh, sorry.
You like put it on your
tracker that connects
keychain
to your
or something.
phone, so you can use it to ping like wherever your tile is, if it's in your purse, if it's in your backpack, your wallet, whatever.
That's
You
amazing.
can ping it from your phone, or if you lose your phone, but you have other said items, you can push the button on the tile and it'll ping your phone.
Wow.
Which, as a
What
privileged
should I do?
user, I have used
Yeah,
it
because
speed
being
amount
able
of
to
time.
ping your
Yeah,
phone is actually, yeah.
Tile? I think that's cool.
You can get wireless charger.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing about the wireless charger is Marketo branded, which some of us nerds like, but it's not something you can find in an airport somewhere.
Right.
Oh yeah, Marketo does good swag.
Write that down.
Oh yeah, start passing around the school.
Yeah, Kelsey hooked us up when she heard we were doing MCE prep.
So you have an engagement program with 4 emails. A lead has already received the second email, and the first email is scheduled to be activated tomorrow. Your cadence is set for today. Which email will the lead receive? You guys ready? Oh yeah. I mean, it's numbers, so. All right, we know the answer here. We're good. Anyone not sure? So the key here is just that email isn't going to be active today for number 1. Otherwise, they would get 1. So. Yes, the key is you're activating the first email tomorrow, but your cadence is set for today. Yeah, so you have to like definitely read. Yeah, this is not one of those ones where very rarely do they put word problems where they give you too much detail. Sometimes, occasionally, they'll just like throw in an extra thing just to like see if you really were paying attention, but true or false. The only difference between an event program and a default program is the ability to set a start and end date. It's false. So events cover webinars, which you can then sync to the webinar provider. Events also have the check-in app. There's a variety of other components that you cannot do with a default program type that are tied to an event program. Any other notes on that? Any other notes on that before I jump forward? All right. Which type of A/B test would you not run if you want to improve your open rates? So would you? Yeah, would you not run subject line date time from name or whole email? Yeah, there's just too many variables there, right? All right, true or false? You may only use open rate, click rate, or engagement score as a criteria for setting a winner in an A/B test. You guys ready? It's false. Trying to think, there's click to open rate and there's one other thing, isn't there?
Actually, it was like,
No, it's false.
Open, click to open.
Yeah, they just have click rate, they don't have click to open.
engagement percent.
Unsubscribes. They let you pick unsubscribes as a A/B test.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. At least on the Send program. Which of the following functionality is not part of the webinar integration with Marketo? So A, push registrants from Marketo to the webinar provider. B, push attendees from the webinar provider to Marketo. C, share survey results from the webinar provider with Marketo. D, use a custom webinar login token in your follow-up emails and calendar invites. You guys good? You cannot share survey results. C. Yeah, just basic NAP is all that it gets sent back. Which of the following is not a feature of the iPad Android event check-in application? Send out follow-up emails, register new attendees on site, check in attendees on site, view registered individuals. Yep, that is why you need a Marketo. Otherwise, you could do everything with a check-in app. All right, you would like to run a data management campaign whenever a lead's country value is populated in the database, so you can standardize the format. Which of the following triggers and filters is the best choice to accomplish this? All right, so we've got a data value changes trigger with a constraint on the country. Lead is created trigger, the filter for country. Data value changes trigger with a constraint on country and lead is created trigger, or lead is created trigger, a data value is changed trigger with constraint on country and a filter for country. Yeah, I'm gonna make this one a double jeopardy.
Do it.
Yell it out when you know it.
You got that one.
So this one's a D. Does anyone know why? You can definitely put 2 triggers on a program, but above and beyond that, if you just did a data value changes trigger with a constraint on country, when someone comes in on a form and they're created, that data value doesn't change. It always is as it is. And so Marketo's not going to see that as a data value change. If you do lead is created or data value changes and country is blah, blah as filter, right? Then that's going to look for people that are created by default having the data value as well as it being changed. All right, you wish to run a campaign on all inactive leads, don't we all? Which of the following types of campaigns is the most appropriate choice? Triggered smart campaign, batch smart campaign, requested campaign, or a sales insight campaign? It would be a batch.
Batch. Don't be a basic batch though.
Please tell me she still gets to present that for.
She does.
Good.
Yes. So that reference harkens to one of the sessions at Digital Summit. That
It
will
is
be
continuing.
presented by the wonderful Jen Maria and Jess. Jen
Yeah, I think it is
and
Jen and Jess.
Howe are
Yeah.
doing a session called "Don't Be a Basic Batch." I'm really looking forward to this.
All right, true or false? Advanced filters in a smart list apply to both triggers and filters. Yep.
This right here is what caused me to send 11.8 million email alerts to my internal email server in an hour and shut down our system for 2 days.
So yeah,
I screwed this up when I was brand new and was like, look, I can do this really cool thing. And it was my first like really cool thing that broke everything.
so it's funny they call them advanced filters here because really it does say, it says filter, right? So like you've got your triggers and you get your filters. So triggers are always ORs, right? You put three triggers in there, it's going to fire in every single one. Especially if you have it run through every time. All right, which smart list trigger would you use if you wanted to send out an email to an individual who registered for a white paper? So yeah, this one's kind of weird. The is sent email technically is a trigger, but you wouldn't want to use it to send another email. You're probably going to use this to change your program status, so that's not a great thing to trigger off of unless for some reason you're pushing people over and then wanting to have the email go out. It is fill out form. And then a word to the wise, if you're using lead is created across your database, try to consolidate it to your life cycle if you can. Which of the following is not an example of a flow step? Change program status, send email, add to SFDC campaign, waits, or visits webpage.
Kelly?
Gosh, I wish you could automate people to visit your web pages, right? Isn't that amazing? No, yeah, it is. It is in fact visits web page. There are wait steps inside of the flow though. So you can send an email, wait a minute, an hour, a day, or whatever, and then do your next thing. All right. You have a triggered smart campaign that is supposed to send out an email to someone who fills out a form. You wish to ensure that this email goes out during the work week. Which features should you use? So there's a duration wait step, a date wait step, a date token wait step, or campaign scheduling. You guys ready? So you can set a duration wait step to end during a weekday or business hours for that matter. Which of the following are not use cases for using a request campaign? Choose all that apply. Creating a campaign for sales to use from within Sales Insight. Triggering a campaign using an external system via the API. Adding members to an engagement program. Alerting someone to follow up on a sales lead. Did I say are not or are use cases? So when you select request campaign, it has a drop down to allow you to select from Sales Insights via API, etc.
Marketo action.
Request campaign, yeah. Campaign was requested, yeah. Request campaign, yeah. It's that filter. True or false? Would you add choices in a flow step? Or when you add, sorry, wow. When you add choices in a flow step, the order of the choices does not matter. True or false?
Anybody that knows it, shout it out. False.
That matters.
Order matters. People will react to the first matching choice that applies. And in fact, when you build advanced steps in your flow, Marketo puts a warning right there at the very bottom. Only the first matching choice applies.
Yep. All right. A content marketing manager has 1,000 leads in an engagement program, 110 of which have exhausted all the content. Content marketing manager recently completed a new white paper and has added the new content into the program at the top of the only stream in the program. How many leads will receive the new white paper at the next cast, assuming there are no deliverability issues, no additional people will be added to the program?
Yep, all together now. What does it mean? There we go.
So they like to do this. Were you paying attention? Yes.
You'll find out on the test where they'll ask stuff like this, that's like the same question, to sometimes even like 3 times, where it's worded just a little bit differently, but it's the principle of it is the exact same thing. So if you take the time and you read it and you look at like, okay, what are the numbers? Who's exhausted? What's the cadence, or what's the new content or whatever? It's easy. It's just the taking time to slow down and read the question. A lot of times something like that, somebody might put 1,110 because they see, oh, they see 1,000 people here and 110 people there. Great. There's my
I can math. Yes. Marketo is not asking you to math.
Yeah, or take 110 off. Yeah. So it's just a like slow down, read the question all the way through.
The only time that number would be smaller is if you had people paused, right? Yeah. So if it said you've got 1,000 people with 110 people paused, then you have to math, right? Marketing manager wants to run a batch smart campaign to process leads that were both created by Form Fill Out Today and who also visited the company's pricing page. Which rule logic should be used when setting up the smart list? Is all. They want both of those things. So they're just going to run filled out form today and visited company's pricing page. All right. A marketing manager needs to gate a piece of content on the company website. Which 3 channel and program types correspond to this activity? Choose all that apply. So we've got an email program with a channel that is email, default program type with a channel of email, an event program with a channel of web form, a default program with a channel of content, default program with a channel of web form, a default program with a channel of web content, or an engagement program with a channel of web content. It is indeed.
Yeah.
A little better, all the efforts.
Yeah. So if it's not sending a single one-time email for an event or a nurture engagement program where it's going to be repeatedly sending things, everything else basically lives under default inside of Marketo, as we know. And depending on how your system is set up, any of those could apply. I don't like the web form one personally, just because I like to use my web forms for things like contact us and demos and things that are actually like a form. Because everything has a form, right? Webinars have a form. I'm going to set up a web form for a webinar, but that's just me. A marketing manager has an engagement program with emails that have been activated and approved. The stream cadence has been set up and the program turned on. But after the cast date, the manager can see that emails are not sent. Which step has been missed? Quality of the deliverability is not checked. Members have not been added to the engagement program. The CRM sync with the engagement program is not activated, or the engagement score has not had sufficient time to calculate. It is, in fact, yes. Yeah, so there's nobody to send it to, nobody getting nothing, literally.
That's it. Boom. How do you guys feel about that? Any questions that you want to go back and revisit? We can pull open the sandbox, we can go in and build, look at stuff. Anything that hung you up, you want to take a look at?
This speaks loud and clear, but it's very important to pay attention to. That's a little word for long.
That's the biggest thing, I think. Probably every time I've taken the test, and even every practice after, every time I do one of those, when I go back afterward and I look at what I got wrong, it's like, dude, I knew that. I just read that question wrong. Because I think that's the thing. You get either nervous or rushed, or you're looking at the clock and you're like 90 minutes and holy crap, that's a lot of questions, and you get going. One thing with the test, if you're looking through there and there's a question that maybe you're unsure of, you can always mark questions to come back and review for later too. So if you want to take some of that time stress off of yourself, if you're looking at something and you're like, wow, I'm really not sure about this, and I think I want to take a couple extra minutes to really think through this one, you can mark it as review for later, work through the questions that you feel much more confident in, and then afterwards you're like, okay, awesome, I have 20 minutes left in this exam, and I have like 7 questions that I marked. Great, I've got some time that I can go back and actually like reread these questions a little more in detail. So don't worry about that. Like you have the ability to do that. But look for in the questions, a lot of times there's 1 or 2 keywords that will lead you to the answer, or at least bring it to a 50-50 choice. The way they write it, there's a right answer. There's one that's like, but maybe you could, if you think of all the different ways that you could like, okay, I might be able to backdoor maybe into that if I did X, Y, Z. No. What's the simple, clear cut out of the box answer? We're not looking to write a webhook to do something or build an API. Like it's not to that level, right? Eliminate the stuff that we know is automatically wrong, and then bring it down to those 2 and just start looking for those keywords. That's going to really, really help you with these questions. Yes. So this recording we're going to push out to everybody that was registered for this and for all of the webinar sessions.